Every day when you log into ChumbaCasino.com, the ultimate online social casino, you get a free daily bonus. Imagine if you got daily bonuses in other parts of your life.
I chose French fries over loaded French fries.
I asked Stuart from accounting about his weekend, even though I don't care.
I updated my operating system without having to call tech support.
Collect your free daily bonus at ChumbaCasino.com now. And live the Chumba life. VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Christian parenting. Aloha, friends, and welcome to the Monica Swanson podcast, powered by Christian Parenting. I am Monica Swanson, mom to 4 boys, wife to Dr. Dave, podcast host and author of Boy Mom, Raising Amazing, and the newly released Becoming Homeschoolers. Here on the podcast, it is my goal to bring you practical advice and biblical wisdom for raising amazing kids and building strong families. You can always find show notes over at monicaswanson.com/podcast. I'm so glad you're here, and I hope you'll be encouraged. Hey friends, welcome back to the podcast, and I am so excited to kick off the next 3 weeks of short and sweet Christmas-related episodes. I think these are going to be encouraging, practical, helpful, and hopefully a nice companion for you as you wrap gifts or bake or run around Christmas shopping. I know we're all busy this time of year, but I want to come alongside and support and encourage you. Now, before we get into today's conversation, I just want to tell you about a little resource found over at the Christian Parenting website. We know that there's nothing quite like finding that perfect gift for the special people on your Christmas list, but let's be honest, it's easy to feel uninspired, especially when life gets busy. We've all been there, scrambling for ideas and then experiencing chaotic trips to the mall. Please don't let me do that this year. Christian Parenting is here to help ease that stress. They've put together a Christmas gift guide packed with faith-based products and experiences all in one place. So you can visit christianparenting.org/Christmas to get your free Christmas gift guide today. This guide is designed to make your shopping easier and more meaningful. Whether you're shopping for kids, parents, grandparents, or friends, we have ideas that are perfect for every age, stage, and interest. Christian Parenting also has amazing Advent resources for your family. We all love that, don't we? If you're looking for fun and creative ways to keep Jesus at the center of your Christmas season, those resources are in the guide as well. From family activities to devotionals just for kids, you are guaranteed to find the perfect Advent resource you've been looking for. You can visit christianparenting.org/Christmas to get your free Christmas gift guide today. All right, guys. Well, I'm super excited to dive into today's episode where I am sharing 5 quick tips for less stress this Christmas. These are practical. They're helpful. They may be things you already know if you stop and think about it, but I hope they are great reminders. So here we go. Let's dive in and share 5 quick tips for less stress this Christmas. I hope you're encouraged. Number 1. Simplify your holidays. Now, you're going to think this sounds so trite, like, yeah, nice idea, simplify your holidays. But truly, we can make the choice to simplify our holidays, even right now, partway into the season, partway into December. Now, while making meals from scratch, extensive shopping, and hosting a bunch of gatherings is life-giving to some, it can often be a source of stress, and it can drain us of the energy we need to simply serve our own families well. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Now, I personally love to cook and shop and host. I guess I seriously love all of the things at Christmas time, but I also have grown to be more aware of my own limits. Too much pouring out in the spirit of the holidays is simply not healthy for me. But when I make it my main ambition to create a warm and welcome home for my family and to plan a few special celebrations with others, then I can pace myself a lot more realistically. Now, since we as moms often don't know how much is too much until we hit our limit, right? Somebody knows what I'm talking about. I encourage you to err on the side of less. You can always do a spontaneous gathering with friends or host something in your neighborhood, but it's a lot harder to cancel something if you've got it planned. Now, a note on this. When my kids were young, Looking back, I realized I had trouble realizing that the season would actually not last forever. And I can remember feeling the need to do the things that I used to do before kids or what I saw others doing, maybe who had grown kids or older kids. And I put myself in a really stressful position by trying to do too much. I wish I had chilled out more and just been home and simplified and hung out with my kids. So I encourage you to not try to keep your home perfect or be an impeccable homemaker when you have young kids. Now that my kids are older, I have the time and they can help me. And so I enjoy it a lot more. Now, you may not have young kids, but you might have a demanding job at the holiday season, or maybe an elderly parent that you're helping care for, or maybe teenagers who just need more of you. Maybe they have activities that you're running them around to. But whatever situation you're in, I encourage you to be reasonable and prayerful. Give yourself grace for whatever season you're in and look for ways to practically simplify this Christmas. Okay, so number one, simplify. Number two, probably the most important thing any of us can do because it's going to take care of pretty much everything else. And that is put God at the center of your Christmas season, like really. And you're going to see everything else fall into place. Now, we often try to solve problems in a million ways when the real answer is so simple. If you're feeling stressed or tired or behind in any holiday way, I encourage you to pull away from everything and literally sit at the feet of Jesus. You might want to play some beautiful, worshipful Christmas music, but just sit and give yourself, set a timer maybe, and for 10 minutes, just sit at the feet of Jesus. Maybe bring your to-do list or your wish list or whatever is on your mind and just offer it to him in true surrender. Ask him for perspective. Dedicate some time to just dwell on the actual true story of the incarnation of Jesus and worship him for it. Now, one thing I love to do in the weeks leading up to Christmas is to read through an entire book of the gospel accounts. So Matthew or Luke are two good places to read through on your own or as a family. And that will help you regain perspective, shift your focus onto the true meaning of the season, which is Jesus's birth and just the gift of him coming into our world to ultimately pay the price for our sins and give us eternity with him. So I encourage you to take time daily, if possible, with Jesus and just keep returning to God as the center of your holiday season. And talk to your family about doing this too. In show notes, I will share a couple of the family devotionals we've used during the Advent season, but it can be really helpful to gather as a family. Maybe not every night, that's probably not realistic, but a few times a week, why not? Give it a try. So number one, simplify. Number two, put God at the center. Number three, ask for help, moms. Why is it that we take on holidays as if they're 100% up to us? I know somebody else out there does the same thing. Now, maybe some of you are married to, Mr. St. Nicholas, or maybe some of you have kids. I imagine if you have daughters, and maybe just like the grass is always greener, right? But I imagine maybe daughters just love to help at Christmas time. Some sons do. Some of mine have been more helpful than others. But in my experience, it seems that most of the families I know have a mom doing 95% of things, and the family lets her, right? It's like as long as we're still going, they kind of sit back and go like, I'm not going to interrupt. Now, I'm not passing the blame here. My husband works so hard and he does so much. And in fact, he often has to work at the hospital through Christmas. So I wouldn't trade places with him if I could. But when he is around, I've learned to just simply ask for help. And I think we need to realize that our husbands and our families and our extended families can't read our minds. So we need to communicate clearly. We all know that clarity is kindness. So let's skip the whole martyr act and just write down or communicate well what we need and let our families and other people kick in and be helpful. All right, so number three, ask for help. Number four, moms, let's give ourselves a little holiday cheer, right? Now, I want to be careful on this one because most of you know I'm not the biggest fan of the whole modern self-care movement. But I'm also practical enough to know that I actually love Christmas time. And if I want to cherish some special, peaceful moments, no one is probably going to deliver those to me. So it is wisdom for me to plan some special times when I might just pull away from the hustle and bustle and soak in a day of just walking through a beautiful shopping center lit up with holiday magic. Maybe no agenda. Maybe I'm not shopping for anything that day. I'm just going out and spending an hour or two getting a yummy coffee and enjoying the holiday cheer. Now, for some of you, that might be going to a musical or a church event that really will fill your cup. It might mean getting your nails done or your hair done while sipping a peppermint mocha and listening to Christmas music. Whatever it means for you, I encourage you to consider what will fill your little Christmas cup. Now, for me, I might ask my husband to plan a special date, just us two, somewhere that I'll always remember. I love to just walk with him when I'm out and there's like Christmas lights up. To me, that's a super special date. But just consider what's going to be a blessing to you. And once you've taken care of a few of those kinds of things, I think you'll be more ready to pour out and serve your family as well. All right. So number 4 is give mom some holiday cheer. And then number 5, I love this, and I think this can be a game changer in our Christmas season, and that is be a part of your church community. If you are not already plugged into a church family, I'm going to say you're missing out. And I know there's a lot of talk today about church hurt and some people who say they love God, but they refuse to go to church because of a bad experience in the past, and I get it. There's no perfect church, and sadly, there's many true stories about church people hurting people. But let's be aware that when a bad church experience causes you to avoid church altogether, no one wins. God created us for community, for fellowship, for one another. You're needed in a church and you need the church. Yes, I will encourage you to choose wisely. Seek out a solid Bible-believing church with a clear statement of faith. Ask questions, but ultimately, if you go in knowing that only God is perfect and this is a body of sinners saved by grace doing life together, you'll have a more realistic expectation for what you're going to get. But by all means, plug in. I encourage you to join Bible studies, home groups. This is stuff that I'm getting a little off track, but year round, I just encourage you to be involved in a local church, but especially during the holidays, be sure to plug into whatever your church has going on. If there's a women's Christmas event, just go. If you're uncomfortable because you're alone, guess what? A lot of other people are too. But if you show up with an open heart and mind, you're probably going to make a new friend. If there's something going on for the whole family or for kids or a Christmas Eve service, I hope you will take the time to make that a priority because that really adds so much to the Christmas season. Don't let work or school parties be the center of your holiday celebrations. Instead, let church be at the center of your holiday celebrations. I'd sacrifice a lot of the other things in order to be plugged into a local church. And doing this, especially regularly year after year, will bless your kids in a big way too, because they're going to look back and their memories of Christmas time will be about being involved in a local church. And guess what? They're a lot more likely to raise their own kids doing the same thing if that's how they've grown up. So if this is something you haven't been doing or you weren't planning on doing, I'm going to encourage, even challenge you to let this be the year that you shift gears and you decide to make that a priority. And when you do, I think you'll find that rather than adding stress to your Christmas season, this will add meaning and joy and really be a blessing for you and your whole family. All right, guys, well, I'm going to list these 5 things I just shared over in show notes, but just a quick review. 5 quick tips for less stress. Number 1, simplify. Number 2, put God at the center. Number 3, ask for help. Number 4, give yourself some holiday cheer. And number 5, be a part of your local church community. I believe that these things will make a big difference in your holidays, and you're going to have less stress in all of it. All right? I hope this encourages you. And next week, I'll be back with another short episode. But next week, I'm going to be answering some of the questions people have sent in when I put out on social media asking, hey, what do you want to know about Christmas? How can I encourage you? What are some questions you have about how my family's done things over the holidays? So it should be really fun. Going to tackle a bunch of quick Q&As. So be sure to come back for that. But before we wrap this up, I have a quick word for those of you who are homeschoolers or thinking about becoming homeschoolers. especially this time of year as we consider switching things up for the new year. I hear from so many people who have questions about curriculum. And if you are looking for a new math or science curriculum, you know we have loved using diveintomath.com. My older boys took math and science from Dr. Shorman through the diveintomath.com website, and they took classes all the way through AP Chemistry and AP Physics, and then they went on to study math and science in college, majoring in engineering and data analytics, and they give Dr. Shorman and his curriculum a lot of credit. Now, Shorman Algebra 1 and 2 teaches every concept on the PSAT, SAT, and ACT with over 200 practice questions, and just so you know, all of Dr. Shorman's classes are Bible-based. He makes learning fun. He keeps his lessons short and sweet, and I think your kids are going to love it. So go over to diveintomath.com, find out what they have to offer, and see if this might be a great fit for your family. Okay, friends, you can find show notes from today's episode over at monicaswanson.com/less-stress-Christmas. That's a mouthful, but it should be easy to find. Less Stress Christmas. All right, guys, I look forward to being back with you next week. So have a wonderful rest of your week. And until next time, aloha.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. People always say it's good to unwind, but that's easier said than done. The exception, Chumba Casino. They actually make it easier done than said, or at least the same. Chumba Casino is an online social casino with hundreds of casino-style games like slots and blackjack. Play for fun. Play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Sign up now and collect your free welcome bonus at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.